Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Lottie show. My name is Lottie, and tonight we're here for our Manchester ladies. What am I talking about? Manchester United ladies vs Arsenal ladies review. I've been away, which I do apologise for. My internet completely packed up on me last week, so we missed out on the Koje review. I do apologise. And with me tonight, I have Matt, who is on my first episode, who is back with me again tonight. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And for the first time ever, on his first YouTube video, I've got my friend George down below me on screen. How are you, George?
Oh yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Right, I'm going to run the intro and then we can get into it.
He's in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. WSL champions.
Welcome back to the Lottie Show, episode 2 of the Arsenal Ladies Show, Manchester United vs Arsenal review. As I've already introduced my guests, but if you've missed it, I've got Matt sitting next to me and below me I've got George. So tonight, boys, we've not had such a successful weekend with the men, but it's been a little bit brighter with the women, I think. But what I really want to touch on is the loss of Leah Williamson, and what her injury means for us for this season. She could be out till Christmas, or she could be out to the end of the season. Matt, what do you think that means for us? And also, Jen, will she get more starts?
Well, it's quite difficult, really, when Leah is the rock at the back. She implements. I'd say she's almost a centre midfielder in defence. She likes to play those long balls over the top, which Katie and Beth or whoever's on the wing, they like to get on top of those balls and really pressure the defence. And when you don't have that in your arsenal, then it kind of hurts you a little bit. From the game at the weekend, it wasn't much of an issue because we finally got those goals and it was a bit of a relief. But I think going forward, it's going to be difficult to decide who's going to be playing there. You've got a couple of choices. And there you've got Schneiderback still coming back. You've got Lottie who can play there. You've got Anna who can also play there as well. But there's plenty of depth. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe perhaps they might decide to. And Boy as well. But they might decide maybe to look into a loan or something just to make sure, just in case that is an option.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was an article in The Independent, and Jonas had criticised the inhumane schedule for the Arsenal ladies. I mean, we've lost Leah till Christmas. George, do you feel that the games, the scheduling is pleasing the TV companies? Because we're having 3 games a week at the minute.
Yeah, then the TV schedule is it's a bit dodgy. Especially with us, because I know I'm sure Chelsea, they're all in the same competitions as us, but they're not got that same sort of schedule. So I don't really blame him for having I wouldn't say he was complaining, but it's got ground to it. And I know he wasn't saying that Leah's injury was to do with it, but it was a contributing factor because how much we've had to play recently.
No, definitely. I completely agree with you. Well, why we are talking football after all, I mean, last week we had the Koji game. We won. And Jen B had her 50th Champions League appearance. Matt, what would that mean to her, do you think?
It means a lot, really, when you think about it. When you think about it, not a lot of the Arsenal players at the moment, you could say, in the men's team, could say they've got this amount of caps in Europe or appearances. So it is something special. It means a lot, and it does mean a lot to the players that they're actually playing against some of the best players in the Europe. Hopefully, this is a good sign of things to come as well. So fingers crossed that Jen stays healthy, because she's been in and out of this team at the moment with a few niggles here and there as well.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. I mean, we just want everyone to be fit, and then we can go forward. I mean, the FA Cup's come in, Barcelona come into the Emirates, and we need everybody fighting and ready to go. George, what did you think of Lot's comments when she scored against Koji? The goal was for Leah. They deeply miss her, and the fact that the goal was a speciality of Leah's. It was Leah's signature goal from the back post.
I think it shows like how like tight of a unit they are, especially like to say that it was for Leah, and it just shows like you obviously have the captain, but it just shows that how much of a leader like Leah obviously is, like on and off the pitch. So I thought it was quite a nice touch, really, to be fair.
No, it just I tend to think that the women's team are more one than the men's team at times. And
yeah, definitely.
It's just a complete family vibe, and do you know what? I'm actually enjoying it a bit more than I do the men's. So, I'm ashamed to say, and I've been watching the men for years. It's been a bit brutal for us as fans, but at the end of the day, we're all one club, are we not? Anyway, another news announcement for us was Katie McCabe becoming the first Miss Kick athlete. Katie's joined them. They're a global brand and also a charity. She's turned down the top brands, I think possibly like Adidas, like Nike, to endorse a smaller brand company. This company was created by Grace Feller, ex-Man City and Liverpool player. The apparel range is basically designed for women in sport, and then 2.5% of that profit goes back into the Miss Kick Foundation, whose mission is to empower women and girls to compete in the sport they love. I mean, what do you think that means to Katie to empower, like, for example, our little sister and all the other younger generation? Because where I've read the interview, she didn't have what... Oh, we lost George. She didn't have what the coverage or the facilities that are offered now.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, is that women's football has to develop. And though it's developed quite a lot at the top, you could say at the bottom it hasn't developed as well. I've been a volunteer for women's football at grassroots, so the funding is a bit mismatched compared to where it might be in the WSL. Hey, we got George back.
Sorry about that. My internet dropped.
Oh, George is back.
And having someone like Casey just means that...
No worries, George. No worries. Sorry, Matt, continue.
You're on mute, George. There you go. So just having Katie on there to say, I know what it's like, I know what this means, here's a little bit to keep you going, and it will inspire people.
Oh, no, totally agree with you there. I mean, the growth of the women's football has been incredible over the last year or so. I mean, with lockdown, it has helped a lot of people. I know you said to me before you started watching women's football because you were at home, we were in lockdown. I mean, the growth of the game is so phenomenal. It's at the point where we've got a Chelsea and Arsenal FA Cup final, and there's at least 30,000 tickets already sold. I know the three of us are all going. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. George, do you think current players like Katie McCabe have a duty of care to inspire to the next generation? George, you're on mute, mate.
Brilliant.
Is that better?
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I wouldn't say they have a duty, but I think it's kind of refreshing that she hasn't just automatically gone with one of the big, companies. So with Miss Kick, it's refreshing for the younger population, because you think that Katie McCabe's quite a big name. So I don't know if duty of care is the right thing, but I think she's doing it right, because she could easily have gone to like Adidas or Nike, somewhere like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think the biggest thing for me is the Miss Kick, their mission statement to support and encourage women into the sports that they love. I think that's just so important. I mean, sport has always been a man's game, but now things are changing and the movement is there. I just think it's absolutely incredible. All right, let's see who's in the comments. Okay, we've got G in the house. Hello, G. Yes, Lottie, pick up yourself and your guests, Matt and George. Tom's here as well. Evening, Tom. Evening, Antonio over in Florida. And also, one of my favourites. Good evening, Keith. How are we? All right. So, this game, before we get into it, I was looking at some stats. And this was a proper record-breaking match for us, I think, in terms of milestones, in terms of player achievements as well. I mean, our captain, Kim Little, had made our 100th appearance for Arsenal on that pitch that day. I know she was only on for about till half time, but it still counts as an appearance. How do you think Kim felt getting that under her belt finally as the captain as well?
Well, it's always special when you reach a landmark, and to reach 100 Super League games, considering it's been going nearly, I'm going to say 7-8 years, something like that. It's
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
So it's a huge achievement. Yeah, it's a huge achievement. And she brings a lot to the team. When she went off, I was a bit surprised because I didn't think there was anything wrong with her, but someone was saying that she might have had a little bit of a groin injury, but she was walking fine when you saw her later on. So hopefully it was just a little bit of a strain and nothing else. But she's got 2 weeks to recover, so that's good news. But yeah, it's every time these girls reach an achievement, some of them enjoy it, some of them just say, I don't really bother mind about it. It's about just getting on with it, getting the goals, getting the points, getting the clean sheets. It all matters in the end. And I think that when they eventually retire, they'll look back at those and really realise what they've done for.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was also our 100th. We were talking about a lot of hundreds in a minute. Our 100th goal from a set piece in the WSL. And obviously, it was the McCabe penalty, which we'll go in further about later. But with the set piece milestone, I mean, it really does show you how far we've come, hasn't it, George?
Yeah, it does. I didn't actually know until because I was listening to it on the TV, and then they mentioned it on there in brief, like saying, and I thought that's a lot different to the men, because from set pieces in the men we're absolutely useless. So for the women to, I just think we've come on quite a lot since Because like you said, the WSL's been going back 10 years now. So and we've seen some quality players in that time, but this squad excites me. I've only watched a few of the games, but the ones I've watched, it excites me. And like with the penalty, I know we'll come to that later, but I thought it was quite a good penalty as well. Shane Aubameyang, he might need to watch that.
So he might need some training lessons, will he?
Yeah, get Katie on it.
From Katie, yeah, no, definitely. Sometimes I wish we could put Katie on that left side of the field with Smith Rowe, and then I'd be happy. I think she'd run rings around even Liverpool personally. But yeah. Also, another like personal record that's finally broke. Miedema got her goal against United for the first time. I mean, I was hoping for a Miedema goal. Matt, you were there. What was you thinking when she finally got her goal?
It's one of those things that I don't think you realise how good she is unless you see her live. The TV can only make her look so good. During the game, she was getting frustrated in that first half, shooting towards. I was in the south stand, so that's where they were shooting, and that first half, and just felt that she was going to do something special. And when she did, it was all from her own movements. I think you can't really put her down as anyone that I can really compare her to at all in that Arsenal, because she's very much an all-rounder. She doesn't just score the Henry goals where he'll side foot it into the back of the net. She'll shoot from pretty much anywhere. She'll get a head on things. So she's just brilliant to have, and that goal just, I don't know. I was trying to watch the BBC just to see if I could hear myself go, because I roared when that went in. It was so loud. I was expecting the TV to pick it up, but no, it didn't. I was so but it was good. It was a great goal.
No, I can imagine. I mean, I got a little bit distracted, so I completely missed it. If you go back to Mr. Arsenal podcast, I was watching it with him on his watch along, and I got a text message, and I looked down and I looked away from the screen and I missed it, and I'm sitting there thinking, no, I can't believe I missed that. Especially when I watch the replays, I'm like, how can I be looking at I've decided I'm not looking at my phone during the games anymore. Especially like with the men's, I can get away with it, but women's, you just can't do it because you just don't know when they're going to break through the lines.
Don't forget, she's still got to play Leicester as well, so it'll be interesting to see how she does with that.
No, that would be great. I'm actually thinking of going down to Meadow Park. I'm like an hour away from there, so it's in consideration. I'm thinking about it, but it's going to be cold on a Sunday night, so I'm in two minds. But yeah, no, I think with Leicester, it's definitely going to be an absolute goal fest. I mean, they've got no points. They're in a negative balance, and it's just, I don't know how they came up, if I'm honest with you. I know it sounds really bad, but some people aren't designed to compete in the top flight.
I think that's how you see the different levels between the Championship and the Super League at the moment. I don't know if you've seen listened to or heard anything from the Championship, but it's a lot more competitive down there than I'd say than the Super League. The Super League sort of seems to be almost like the Premier League and the Championship combined, where you've got teams that are almost on equal levels of playing field, whereas the Championship seems to be fighting for survival. I think you got Watford in that league that got promoted last season in their division, and now they're bottom, and they've only got 1 point, which just shows you how competitive these leagues are.
Bits of it I was because I think it was a cup game, and I saw that, I think it was like Watford or someone like that, one like 12-0 or something like that, and I'm thinking, like, I know they're not all in the same division. It just shows the big difference. Like, you know, like when you see the big teams in the Super League, like when they play in the early rounds of the cup, they're winning like at least 7-8-0. You don't really see that in with men's football, do you?
No, definitely not. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw an Arsenal score that high. If I'm honest with you, for the men's team, I really can't. I mean, I
remember when we
think,
lost 8-2 to United. I don't know when we won.
oh, George, George, I was trying not to say it. I'm trying
Yeah,
not to say it.
The
Thanks for
last
that,
one that I
George.
can remember is the 5-2 against Chelsea. No, sorry, 5-3 against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Remember the
That's not
5-2
great.
against Spurs? I think that was when
Yeah,
Walcott
that was a good
scored.
day.
And that. That's the
Yeah,
only one
no,
I
that was a
really
good day.
remember, to be
We're
fair.
going back to the Wenger years now.
Yeah. Oh gosh, long gone are those. So the attendance, obviously, Matt, you were there. The attendance was like 2,186 people, including yourself. I mean, what was the atmosphere like at the
I
ground?
loved it. Absolutely loved it. There was a little bit of banter between both sets of clubs. United had their own singing section, which was quite nice to see in the West Stand. We also, I didn't know that at the time, but Serena Weidman was there. Rachel Daly was also there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just certain people going to these. Everyone seems to be wanting to have a look, make sure that they know who's playing. If there's England players involved, then there's also that. It's great to see. The atmosphere was brilliant. It's a lot more friendly. If you do go to one of these games, you can almost sit and have a coffee with the person next to you and talk. There's no real bitterness between these fans. It's quite healthy, and it's just brilliant. It's nice atmosphere. I can't really compare it to anything else because it's just so nice and so different to the men's game. Whereas you get people slouching off or just by themselves, and I've been there by myself before and not really had anyone to meet with. So it's not nice to make a difference and have a bit of a change. And hopefully, when that final comes around, because that'll be your first games, you'll make a few more friends, get to know a few more people, and it'll be brilliant.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm already looking forward to it. You know, so it's the thing is when I walk into the stands up at Arsenal, even if I'm with George or whoever, I always see someone I know. I talk to anyone when I'm at the football. I don't care. I really don't. I believe George does as well, don't you, George?
What was that?
Talk to anybody when we're out in the stands. We try to do. We're always sitting there talking to someone new.
It depends if we're allowed to
there.
talk where we sit. So, like, for certain bits, you can't make a noise. Like one of the games, like people do crosswords.
There was the Aston Villa game that we had. A man and his son doing crosswords at half time. So it was actually unbelievable. Got a new comment. Morning, Scott. How are you? Scott's over in Australia. That's why he's saying good morning. So I'm just going to pull the line up and get your guys' thoughts. So we've got Zinsberger in goal. We've got a back four of Maritz, Beattie, Webber-Moy and Catley. And then in the middle of the park, we had Manham, Volti, Little, and then, of course, my favourite front three of Mead, Miedemar, and McCabe. Matt, what did you think of this lineup when it first came out?
It's what we're used to. If McCabe's not playing in that front three, she's playing where Steph's been playing. Steph's really up to her game. She's brilliant. She is very much she's very much a utility player in the same way McCabe is. During the game, they were both rotating to make sure that they were both putting crosses in to the box, which we can be dangerous from, and it's great to see. The worry was, looking back, is Jen and Lottie going to be a good partnership? Is there going to be any injury problems? But there wasn't really any problems at all. And at times we didn't look great defensively, but we managed to get the ball away and more importantly, stop them from getting a goal. And that's what really means the best. And it might show that perhaps we might not miss Leah defensively, but we might need to find new ways to attack other than just having Leah spread the ball around.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, just looking back at the game, I mean, although Katie McCabe was up front on the left, she was absolutely everywhere. I mean, in the first half, she assisted Mead, Manham, Catley, Merritts, and she even had a go herself at the goal. So she is absolutely brilliant. George, what did you think of the lineup?
Yeah, I thought it was a lineup what we expected. Like Matt said, like defensively with Leah, we could manage to cope maybe, but like going forward, I thought during aspects of the game, I thought they were starting to get a bit frustrated. But then obviously we got the goals. One thing I'll say about McCabe was it was quite funny because obviously as where I can't see the game, so I listened to the commentary. I counted it. I think I heard her name 87 times in the first half. I was just like,
wow,
is she the only one playing? So,
yeah, I know.
It's just everywhere. And our goalkeeper, I don't think she gets enough like praise. To be fair, as well.
No, she definitely doesn't. I mean, she did make some pretty good saves. One in particular, I will come to.
Second half.
Yeah, I will come to that, George. You're way ahead of me, mate. No, so the first one that really did surprise me was Mead. I mean, it took us 7. We had a few shots, but 7 minutes. It was where Mead hit the crossbar with a left-footed shot in the centre. Obviously assisted by our girl Katie, but she did find the space, and then she found the bar. Matt, do you think she should actually be getting that goal and not hit? I
honestly thought it was going to go in. I didn't expect it to hit the bar. Not just out of like some personal vein or anything like that. I just thought it was going in. And usually when someone takes a shot like that and it looks like it's going in and then it hits the bar, you just don't know how to act. And I thought someone was going to put in the rebound and but in the end it was just free for all, and United just managed to get the ball away with the shot. It was a bit of a shame because it was practically an open goal. I think it was Frida that was closest to it, but she just wasn't able to get there quick enough ahead of anyone else. It was a bit of a shame.
No, definitely. I think it was Miedemar that didn't get the rebound, if I remember rightly. She just couldn't convert it. So, but I remember seeing Frida close enough though. I mean, but the first half it was good. I mean, we didn't get our goal, but what did we think of Earps, the United goalkeeper, George? I mean, she's been called up for England. I've never seen her play, and I thought she made some pretty incredible saves.
Yeah, that was. I'd heard of her just because friends of mine, they're all like they support United, and they mentioned her, and but yeah, I thought she made some quite good saves. Like just going back to what Matt says about Beth Mead, I thought the bar was going to snap. Like how hard it sounded. I don't know if she did hit it that hard, but
oh, she did.
I wouldn't want to get in the way of her kicking the ball at me. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, she did make some good saves, and she's fully deserved to be called up to the England squad. Just shows like the strength and depth that obviously Arsenal have also, but obviously what England has as well.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to the international break for a change, which is it's gonna be very interesting. I think. I mean, England is sitting pretty top of the group, plus 32 goals. We've not lost, we've not drawn, we've won all 4 games. I mean, it is incredible. Honestly,
not bad, is it?
No, it is incredible, especially from these girls. But half time came anyway, and soon as play resumed, the wonderful goal that I missed from Miedemar came in at the 48th minute, right foot shot from the outside the box into the bottom left corner, and of course assisted by Katie. Matt, what did you think of the goal? Obviously, was it close enough to the south stand for you?
No, they were shooting into the sun, which is where they have all the banners and everything. So all the United fans sit on I think it's the west stand. But it was when that goal went in, there was a bit of relief. As I said earlier, I roared and I was when that went in because it was just a brilliant goal. You didn't expect it to happen. I think United themselves weren't concentrating, which kind of made Miedema's job a little bit easier. It probably didn't come up in commentary, but basically United were just dropping and dropping and dropping. Miedema had plenty of space from the 20, I would say 25 yards out, and I don't know what Marriott was doing, but I thought she was thinking that she was going to shoot into the far corner, but she decided to shoot on the left-hand side, and it was a brilliant goal, and I think it was thoroughly deserved.
No, definitely. I mean, watching the replay, it did look like the sun was in her eyes, to be fair. I think if she just moved herself a bit quicker, I think she would have saved it, but thankfully she didn't. But yeah, no, she's finally broken her record against United, which is absolutely brilliant. It makes it a bit more bittersweet, so to speak, as a win. But George, what do you think of Vivian Miedema as a striker as a whole?
She's amazing. The games I've listened to her and the stuff I've read, she's just different quality. She's definitely one of the top strikers. I might be talking rubbish, but I think she's definitely one of the top strikers in the world. I wish we had her in the men's team.
We've had this conversation so many times, George. I've still considered. I've been sitting there thinking, we can disguise her and get her up front, Matt. I mean, a few minutes later, obviously the penalty came, and Katie got completely taken out by Aoife Mannon. She collected a clean pass from Miedema. Then McCabe was taken out by Mannon, I should say. But she didn't get the ball, so it was a straight penalty. I'm just going to pull the image up of how it happened. I mean, Matt, what did it look like from where you were sitting?
Well, I think this is the problem when you're sitting so far away is you can't really tell where it's a penalty and where it's a free kick. I actually thought it was a free kick. I didn't expect it to be a penalty. So I think a lot of the fans as well were going, what's going on? Is it a free kick? Is it a penalty? And we didn't realise it was a penalty until Viv picked up the ball, which was kind of funny, actually, because earlier in that game, they tried to confuse her with a free kick with Viv picking up the ball. Then McCabe was sitting on it, and so was Little as well, just to put a little bit to distract them a little bit. But for the penalty, I haven't actually seen it back properly. But if it's in the area, it's in the area. But I think it was. I don't know if it was just in or if it was clearly in the area. I think that's one of the problems with that stadium is that because you're quite low, you can see you can't see exactly where the lines are. Yeah,
no, I completely agree with that. I mean, even when I was at home, I wasn't sure if it was a penalty or a free kick because it was right on the line. We had an incident earlier in the game with that, and it was a free kick. So I was sitting there chatting to Ryan. I said, "Look, it's got to be a free kick," and it turned out to be a penalty. And obviously, she put it in. She top binned it, which was completely Katie's style as usual. But George, what did you think of the penalty? Do you think it was the right decision?
Yeah, it was definitely the right decision. It was like what you were saying about it being a free kick or a penalty, because on the commentary they wasn't 100% sure either. But for the actual decision, whether it's free kick or penalty, was completely took her out. I was like, it's ridiculous to be fair.
Yeah.
But then obviously she smashed it in, and she knows how to take a good penalty. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, as Matt said, I didn't know who was going to take it. I was convinced. I think I was convinced it was going to be Viv, but it ended up being McCabe. And it was just an absolutely brilliant goal. I think the next thing I want to touch on is obviously Zinsberger's save in the 65th minute. Lucy Staniforth, she found Katie Salem, who escaped Volti. She took a right foot shot to the centre of the goal, and Zinsberger saves it on the volley. I mean, George, what you were talking about Zinsberger before? What do you think of her in that save?
I thought the save was probably one of the best saves of the season so far, of what I've watched. I think a lot of people, they talk about, so people like Vietmar, Beth Mead, McCabe and all that us attacking, but some of the saves that she's made have kept us in games, and I just think give credit to those, but also remember she's an amazing keeper.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Matt, obviously it was down by the south stand, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Sorry. What was it like to see that save? I mean, it must have been incredible. Or was it, how do I put this, a squeaky bum moment?
It was kind of a bit of both. It was kind of a bit of what's going on. Don't know what's going on. Oh, she's made a save, but it wasn't just like the Aaron Ramsdale moment. It was against Leicester. It was, she made it her own. She's a great goalkeeper. I know she didn't have the best of starts when she came in, but since then she's grown. And it's great to see that when you look back, that you've got a goalkeeper that's almost confident every time she goes to games. Right, no one's getting past me. I'm going to make this save. She's got defense that she can rely on. She's got teammates that she knows will put their bodies on the line as well. She knows when to talk. She knows when to not to talk. She knows when to do the short passes and the long passes as well. So she's a great player and a great goalkeeper. And I think if she did move on, I think it would be quite hard to say who will be the next goalkeeper, because it's going to be really tough to find a goalkeeper that's as good as she is at the moment.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I find her for a keeper. She's very fast. She's very fast. She's quick to react. She's got quick thinking, and she's everything that, as a team, that we need. I mean, if she needs to shout at her back line, she will. I mean, I know this is really bad comparison, but I've always complained about Leno for that, because he'd never command his back line. Whereas Ramsdale, Zinsberger, they both do that. They talk to their back line and tell them to fix up when necessary. And I do love it, honestly. Well, that's the game wrapped up. The last thing I really want to touch on is our England call-ups. So on the screen right now, we've got Nikita Paris, Beth Mead, Lot Mobenmoy, and of course Jordan Nobbs, who got her call-up after her injury. I mean, George, how do you think Nikita Paris' season's gone so far, and how will she contribute to the England squad?
See, for Nikita Paris, I think she's it took her a while to settle. I know I think she scored in the Champions League, didn't she? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think she is a good striker. I just think we need to give her a bit more time. I've not seen loads and loads of her. I've seen a couple, and she seems okay, but not to what we've seen, what she can do before, and that for England. I know she's been scoring goals and that, but I think she just needs to give her a bit more time for Arsenal.
No, definitely. I mean, she's come back from France, Matt, and she's been stuck on that 49th goal for so long now. When do you think she's going to get it?
I think the key is patience with her. It's the same with forwards. When Ford doesn't score, it was a bit when Viv was on a holiday. and Ford was up front, I was thinking she's not going to score. It's just one of those things that, you know, it does take time. Over a season, sometimes it goes against you, sometimes it doesn't. But you can see, or you can hear from the commentary, that she's a hard worker. She knows what she wants to do. The fact that she's in the England squad means she's doing something right. And I think having Jordan Nobbs back there as well is going to help a little bit as well. You've got 4 of those players already called up. You've got plenty more in the youth setup as well that are playing there as well. So it's a good sign that we're going forward, that we've got potentially some future stars in their own ranks.
No, definitely. I mean, it just fills you with pride at the moment. I mean, we're just getting squad. And when you look at the women's, I mean, there's 4 of them, and then there's so many more in the under 23s. Did you say, Matt, as well?
Yeah.
I mean, we've the women's team has got that English core, and I think that's actually brilliant. It's homegrown talent, and they continue the way they're going. I mean, like Alex Hennessy is. I mean, she's 16. It is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Alex. But she can, in a couple of years, she can definitely be competing and having her England spot. Another thing is I did want to touch on was Jordan Nobbs' return from injury. She obviously had an ankle ligament injury. Sorry. George, what do you think this means for her coming back and breaking back into that England squad?
I think it'll probably mean quite a lot to her, because I'm really glad that she's managed to break back into the squad, because after that she had that really bad injury, didn't she? And I thought, God. And she was playing really well at the time. She's one of my favourite players, to be fair, when I've watched before, is Jordan Nobbs. So good luck to her, and I think she'll do all right. But hopefully she can just stay fit, and then England and Arsenal, get the best of her over the next few months.
And definitely one person we definitely had the best from recently is Beth Mead. I mean, she had a hat trick in the last qualifying rounds. Which do you think we're going to see some more goals from her, Matt, over the 27th and the 30th against Austria and Latvia?
Austria is going to be a tough test because we've got Zinsberger in goal. I don't know why I said we when I'm English. But
Arsenal hat off.
yeah, Arsenal hat off, English hat on. It's going to be interesting as well, because we're going to be playing them again in the summer for the Euros. So it's almost like a dress rehearsal for this game, that game even. If anyone's going to be able to score, I think it'll be it'll be a little bit of a banter between the England girls and Zinsberger. I'll be scored past you. A little bit of banter in training, but it's all part of it. I don't know if you see the is it the Sidemen video that they did over the summer, and it was Zinsberger. Yeah, Zinsberger was on there and having proper banter with the guys about it. So it's not. I'm sure she's actually like that. She'll have a bit of fun. There's not going to be any sore losers over it, but it's going to be a good game for that Austria game. If we see any goals, I think it will be from Beth and Nikita. Both of them seem to be almost different animals when they're with England at the moment. Whatever both Jonas and Serena are eating or feeding them, please keep doing it, because you're giving us a little bit more to support, and they're doing so well at the moment. We just want to keep it going. And if Ian Wright's there and he takes another video of Beth Mead, I think that will make everyone happy as well, because that video going around was brilliant.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I mean, we've also got lot in the possibly going into the back four, but can you see her starting at all, George?
I don't know if she'll start in both the games, but I think she'll get one of the in one of the games, like maybe the second one. Like we said, it's like a dress rehearsal, the Austria one against for the first one. So you never know. It's because we have so much strength at the minute. We've got quite a bit of strength in depth for England. So I'd like to hope she does get a go, but I'm thinking more probably the second game.
Matt, what do you think?
I think places are up for grabs. You've now got two central defenders that are missing, both in Steph and Leah. So yeah, it's going to be hard to think who's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be Millie Bright that's going to be playing there. Rachel Daly, who could possibly play there because she can play also on the right or the left. It's difficult. I can't say for certain that it's going to be Lotters to win or to lose. It's sort of it's the same for the goalkeepers really as well. We've got a bit of an injury crisis with that, with Ellie Roebuck and Karen Bartley not playing. So you've got Mary Earps playing in goal at the moment. Interesting to see how it goes.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I've got to find somewhere to watch the England game back, so hopefully I can do that. Because I'm at Newcastle on Saturday, so hopefully they can pull it off. But yeah, no, I am looking forward to watching the qualifying because I've never actually watched it. I mean, Australia and New Zealand have got it this year. I mean, what do you think it could do over in Australia and New Zealand for women's sport in general, Matt?
Well, I think that football over there is very popular. You got Sam Kerr, who is basically the poster, the poster person for Australia. You've got some of our own Matildas as well. Steph Catley. You got Caitlin as well. So it's not, and Lydia Williams as well. So it's not going to be a bad poster for both the women's game over there, but also a good showing of the WSL as well. It'll be interesting to see how that develops as well, because a couple of our players, I don't know if you know, Jodie Taylor used to play for Arsenal. I don't know if she's retired now, but last time I heard anything, she was in Australia. I don't know if she's still there. But it'll be great to see how that goes. And hopefully we can qualify without any issues, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, at the moment, as I said, we're sitting pretty at the top with a plus 32 goal difference. I mean, these guys have won 10-0 twice, and then 8-0, and then 4-0 within our group. And it's just, I think we've probably secured one of the 9 places that will take us through. But I don't want to speak too soon because I know what I'm like, especially after the score predictions, which I do need to say well done for the Spurs score. Spot on score, Matt.
Well, I'm a curse, I swear.
I'm not going to ask it. I'm not asking that to anybody anymore.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
I agree.
George, what do you think it means for sport when the World Cup 2023 comes around for the women in New Zealand and Australia?
I think it obviously with promoting, obviously with the women's football and that. Obviously we've got a few Australian players over here, haven't we? Is it Sat, the one who plays for Chelsea?
Yeah, Sam Kerr.
Sam Kerr. So I think it gets it out there a lot more, and I think worldwide there needs to be more coverage for women's football.
Yeah, I agree.
But it just goes back to a conversation I had with you, Lottie, before. When people talk about football, it's the generalisation, men's football, women's football. For me, it should just be football, because I don't know if that's another debate for another day, but it's for... You
we
say,
can talk about that now,
the men's football, but the women's football, probably women's football is a lot better anyway, to be fair.
No, definitely. I completely agree with you, George. I mean, I've lost count how many times I've seen before Leah was injured, how many times she was thrown on her head and she still got up. She didn't roll around on the floor. They don't roll around on the floor unless you're the Lily Whites or they're seriously injured. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I wasn't going to touch on this next bit, but I think it does need to be touched on. I mean, I don't know if either of you saw the tweet about Mana Iwabuchi. She tweeted after the game against Liverpool. Can you hear me?
I saw this yesterday.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Sorry, my internet's dropping out. Sorry, guys. So Mana tweeted after the game. It was 4-0 and a bunch of crying faces. As a Arsenal fan and as someone who does watch the WSL and watches her play in Champions League, everything, I saw nothing wrong with it, personally. And there was certain sections of this fan base who decided to racially abuse her because she was upset, obviously, for Tomiyasu, but she wasn't very happy for Minama. George, do you think it's acceptable for someone who's had 13 appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist, 3 of them being in the Champions League, to be racially abused online for that tweet?
No, I don't think it's acceptable for anyone, to be fair, online, but I don't really see what was wrong with what she said. She's obviously upset for Tommy and just Arsenal in general. Arsenal Football Club is Arsenal Football Club. Just because she plays for the women don't mean she ain't got a right to feel anything. But what does make me laugh with that is, and I might upset people here, it's about when Mesut Ozil was commenting the stupid stuff that he was commenting when Arteta was losing his games. I don't see anyone racially abusing him or saying or any kind of abuse to him. So anyone who racially abuses anyone, thinking you just need to give your head a wobble. Like, she didn't say nothing wrong. But even if she did, Lottie, do you know what I mean? Like, even if she said, "Oh my God, they were absolute rubbish," she's entitled to her opinion. No one deserves to be racially or any kind of abuse for that. They should have heard what I was saying about them. You know what I mean?
I know, George, we had that conversation.
Yeah, that's just like, it's ridiculous.
We won't repeat those words on air. Matt, later on, she did actually apologise for that tweet. Do you think she should have apologised? I don't turn around and directly tweeted her. She's got nothing to apologise. We still love her. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't have to listen to these idiots, so to speak. I mean, should she have apologised for that tweet?
No. When I didn't know about this at all, so it's a bit of a new thing until you just mentioned it now. But
no worries.
As George has mentioned, like it's not okay to abuse someone, racially abuse anyone of any case. I mean, Georgia Stanway's had that issue when she got the red card against Man United. But it wasn't racial, it was just general abuse. I don't think it's acceptable really to turn around to a player and say, "Why'd you do that? This, that, and the other. Go back to the kitchen." Just in general, why would you do it? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the way people are brought up or they don't have a lot of time, so they just think the best way to do things is by abusing people, which just questions what's wrong with you in the first place. Maybe, as George suggests, give your head a little bit of a wobble. but it shouldn't be there, and she shouldn't have apologised because she's got nothing to worry about. She's supporting not just the club but her fellow countryman in Tomiyasu, and she has she's got, as everyone's going to point out, she has the rights to her own opinions, and as well as the fans. It's just a bit of a shame, really, that she has to apologise. If that was Tomiyasu doing that to Iwabuchi, and say Arsenal lost a game, say against say we played Bayern Munich in the Champions League, it would be fine. There wouldn't be any abuse. But I just don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I've actually been thinking about it for most of the day, and it's not acceptable for the type of player and her talent and what she can do on that pitch. I think that's the only thing she should be judged on, not because she's a woman, not because of her race or anything that can be discriminated against.
And most of them people probably didn't even know who she was, that probably abused her. Like, they probably just saw that and thought, oh, we'll say this. And it's ridiculous. And it's right what Matt said. If that was the other way around, if that's Tomiyasu, nothing's said. And that's what I don't agree with. Like, we're Arsenal Football Club. We're not Arsenal women or Arsenal men's. Like, that's what I think has to change with football in general and people's perspective.
Tom's made a good point as well. I don't know if you've just seen that, Lottie.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up. I was waiting for George to finish. So Tom said, you can only hope as a load of idiots having too many panda pops trying to show off in front of their Ribena mates. I mean, I think the perfect example of it is the Ian Wright case that went to court with the teenager. He said, because of a video game, he decided to do that. I mean, when I first read about him, I'm thinking, this person is not old enough to even have watched him. I don't even remember watching him. So how can this be happening? I've just completely new question that's just completely come to my head. Matt, do you think Iwabuchi was pulled from that possible lineup because of that tweet and what happened?
I don't think so.
No?
She's been missing a little bit. And a lot of these players have had the problems of playing in the Olympics, having WSL games, then having a short break, and then coming straight back to the Champions League qualifiers, friendlies, more qualifiers, and then the start against Chelsea as well. It didn't really help, and now we've got the Euros coming up, which won't help at all. So I'm just hoping that maybe perhaps the WSL might look at that and say, you know what, we'll just stall it for a couple more weeks, let things die down a little bit. I know we've got a World Cup as well next year as well, 2023. So maybe they might stall it a little bit just to benefit everyone. It might give whoever gets promoted next season as well a little bit more time to adjust, which will probably make it a little bit more competitive as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, that was when I first saw the lineup, that was my actual automatic thinking. And then I had to think back to Heath as well. She's been suffering from a calf injury. I'm not I don't think she's playing for the US at the moment. But it's slightly disappointing because I do enjoy watching both of them play a lot. I mean, Heath's record speaks for itself. Iwabuchi is just something else. Some of the goals that she scored, I mean, on the first episode, the one that we spoke about, Matt, spoke about, Matt, was one of your favourites. I mean, I've watched that back several times since, and I'm just absolutely besotted with her. She's just such a talent. But that's the end. Comes to the end of our show. Anyway, if you want to catch any of our other internationals that are on duty for the international break, Mana Iwabuchi is up for Japan. She is playing Iceland on the 25th of November. And then she goes head-to-head with Vivian Miedema on the 29th of November. And then Katie McCabe with Slovakia on the 25th of November. And then she goes on to play Georgia on the 30th of November. Manum is also playing for Denmark. She's playing Norway. Sorry, wrong flag. I do apologise. Schoolgirl there. Thank you for that, Matt.
Don't have Lottie in charge of Eurovision.
No, don't. It's a good thing I don't watch it though, George, isn't it? Really. So Manum's playing for Norway. She's playing. They're playing Albania on the 25th, and then Armenia on the 30th. And Viv is obviously playing for the Netherlands. She's playing the Czech Republic on the 26th, and then she's coming head to head with Mana with Japan on the November 29th. And then for Switzerland, we've got Volti and Maritz playing together. They play Italy on the 26th of November and Lithuania on the 30th of November. I mean, what a really good bunch of fixtures. I mean, which game do you watch? If you want to watch the Arsenal girls, you're going to need like 7 or 8 screens. I mean, well, not 7 or 8, but at least 6 to have them all on. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not sure where to watch them.
It would be nice if they did like a streaming service, like they do with the FA player, where you just go and here's all the games, or there'll be a highlights package, but nothing. But you get it for the men's. This just makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm glad it's obviously they're coming into mainstream, but obviously our times are really awkward for the team at the moment as a whole. But it's allowing fans to go back and watch the game, like if it was on the BBC, or you can go back and watch it on Sky. I mean, the coverage is great, but again, it's the timings. I mean, I believe the week we went away to Koji, we played on the Sunday, went to Denmark within that time. No, was it Denmark? Koji is not in Denmark, is it? No. I'm going to have to double check that. Sorry, guys. That is appalling knowledge on my half.
Is Denmark.
It is Denmark.
Okay. I was right. Okay. I was just double checking. Thank you, guys. Over to Denmark and then we played on Wednesday night. And then we came back to England to play on the Sunday. I mean, I understand we want to compete with the elite, but it does leave us susceptible to injuries, and that's why we've lost. I feel we've lost Leah, although Jonas has said no. All right, so okay, well, so we're finished. That's the end of it. George, where can people find you?
So on Twitter, I am at George S 1993 AFC, and my name is Georgie Boy on there. Also, I do other stuff that's sports orientated, and that's at official S Mania. So, give us a follow and all that. We're actually going to be featuring a lot of WSL stuff. So,
oh, brilliant! I can't wait for that to start. Matt, where can everyone find you if they want to give you a follow?
My Twitter handle is MattLR28. I do a little bit of writing for her Football Hub as well at the moment, so that's quite exciting. Wow. So I've recently covered the goalkeepers, but I'll be probably writing another one soon as a follow-up, because there's been a few more players that I didn't mention that I should have mentioned. But a lot of people will probably see me on the over and over and over again Arsenal channel as well, doing their women's football podcast as well with Richard and a few others.
That's brilliant. Again, I should have said thank you earlier, but guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I do really appreciate it, especially after the last time with George. I do apologise with the internet, but I hope you've enjoyed your first YouTube show, George. No, you're most welcome, George. But I am back possibly on Thursday. I am launching my Road to Wembley for the Euros. Well, it should be Road to Australia Stadium, I should say, because it's qualifiers for the World Cup. So hopefully see you guys then. Just keep an eye on my tweets. while we get things together. I'd also like to say thank you to Chelsea's Travel House. She's our official sponsor, and also to Gunforce Edits, which is Martin, Chris, and AWF Clips, who provided my intro video. I really appreciate it. And thank you, guys. George, would you like the last word of the show?
Okay. Yeah, so looking forward to the international break to watch the girls for all the different countries. I'll try not to watch Denmark in case I want to watch Norway. So, yeah, well, not watch it, but listen, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. Matt, thank you again.
Oh, it's been a pleasure as always. It's nice to meet you, George, as well.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, mate.
It was huge that of what happened to you, and hopefully everything gets sorted for you soon as well, because it's not acceptable for that to happen to anyone, and hopefully justice will prevail for you.
Cheers for that, mate.
Brilliant. Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and if you're watching this back, I will see you later.